Thank you very much for viewing my videos. This is going to be the last installment that I have for today, and not only just today, but also for all the questions that I picked up. With this particular question, a mate of mine again asked me what are my thoughts on dairy products. Basically, I'll keep everything very minimal because there's a lot of things that I have to go through, as you can see through the books here, that they also have their own not only thoughts but for other information that will be vital for you to know also about dairy products. So without further ado, I'm going to give you my personal opinion on dairy products, and to keep it real basic and not to keep it for too long, with dairy products, for me, you just got to make sure that they're the best product out there. And when I mean best, I mean quality. You got to make sure for whatever you get in terms of dairy, regardless if it's yogurt to cheese to milk, you got to make sure for each one of them they're at its best quality. So I'm not talking about what company is best. So let's say for yogurts you're going for Muller because you see Muller everywhere, and it seems to be, in terms of commercially, it seems to be the best product out there. Which at the end of the day, you need to understand that for these type of products to be in the stores, and they make a lot of them, they would have to find a great and cheap solution into making so many products. So therefore, they may not contain, or they may not have all the benefits as they say or they claim that they have. So you got to make sure for whatever dairy products you do get, it's its best. And the inevitable for it to be its best, it would have to be organic or raw. So that'll be my basic answer to that question, especially from my point of view. Also as well, just to elaborate a bit more further, with what's in the dairy products, especially milk. I'm going to touch upon milk because that's one thing that I make sure a lot of people get out. Not I want to say get out of the diet, but I want to make them aware of what they are drinking. So for those that do buy milk, so especially semi-skim seems to be quite popular. I used to be drinking semi-skim milk as well until I found out and I realized what they were putting in these milks. I completely stopped. Without having to go to too much detail, just know that your milk that you drink is containing almost over 20 different types of antibiotics in your milk that they are feeding the cow. Okay, so what the cow is fed, the cow is fed a lot of growth hormones, so such as steroids, such as growth enhancers for it to then grow, not according to its pace in a sense. So it's almost like trying to pump up a baby with all these type of growth hormones, because you now want the baby to go from 6 months to 2 years old, yet he hasn't had that time to then go through that process itself. You understand where I'm coming from? So that's what they're doing to the cows, and then for whatever the cow is having to make up, that's what is then being fed to you. And a lot of the time, again, I don't want to go into too much detail, but a lot of the time for what you're drinking, if you knew, I'll guarantee you would have stopped after watching this video. But then again, as I mentioned with milk, there's so much stuff in there that you don't even know about. They tell you it's just cow's milk, semi-skimmed, low fat, low calorie, but then if you turn around and you see the ingredients, you wouldn't even know, not even half of them. To some, I don't even know if they even put them in there. And also they don't label or list everything that they put in there. So I'm going to go into this book quickly, which is by Paul Check. A great book. I haven't managed to read it fully yet, but I have gone through it, and there is a variety of things that I'm already interested in that will definitely help me to then not only just put on, but also to then apply towards my clients, but also to apply to my friends and family as well. So I'm just going to read something very quick to what he has to say about dairy products as well. So just bear with me. Here we go. So again, he's come up with 5 points, and I'm going to briefly give you a little bit of each one. With the first point that he's mentioned on dairy, wherever possible, buy raw, certified organic dairy products. There are companies that sell milk from organic grass-fed cows, which is important because the type of feed the cows eat influences the quality and the quantity of the protein and fats in the milk. So as you can see already there, for the milk that you guys are consuming, you need to understand that how they are treating the cows. don't just see the product, you need to see where the product came from. Alright? If you knew that your mind will definitely take one thing much more different if you was to see, let's say for example, let's say it was a drink, let's say it was an orange juice, and we put two of the same orange juices together. If you knew that one orange juice was being made by old oranges, but what they've done, they've added flavouring, they've added sweeteners, they added colouring to then make the juice look like how it is now, you wouldn't have taken that juice. But if it was one that has just been freshly made with organic fresh oranges, then again you would know which one to choose. But then again, if you didn't know where they came from, you wouldn't necessarily know the difference. So that's the whole thing with most of these products nowadays. They don't tell you where it came from, they just show you the product and they just try to sell you the product. For other products, they like to show you where it came from, so at least you know knowledge for whatever you're drinking or for whatever you're consuming, you know where it came from. So you're much more, how can I say, you already kind of accepted the product without having to question it too much, or even without having to know where it came from. So it almost gives you that sense of comfort to know that for whatever you're having or for whatever you've got, it's come from somewhere that has been well kept and well looked after and has been well made, and that's what it's all about. So that'll be the first one. That's what he's on about there. With the second point, if you can't get raw dairy products, the next best thing is certified organic. This way, although the milk may be pasteurized or homogenized, it won't contain antibiotics, hormones, or pesticide residues. So again, if you can't find raw milk or anything like that, then just go for organic, plain and simple organic. Reasons for that, as he did mention here, as I also mentioned as well, there won't be as much antibiotics. Also, it won't have as much hormones in there, and it won't have many pesticides in there. As much as it will be pasteurized and homogenized, and what that means is it's been made in like a massive tank, and they've added other types of chemicals in order to make the milk last longer and also keep its color. Because if you know yourself, milk does not come out white straight from a cow. It does not come out white. It comes out almost like I've heard people say blue. Even from my time, from what I can remember anyway, from going to primary school, when we took a trip to one of these farms, I even remember it coming not yellow, but a very dull type yellow color. So just know that milk, when it comes up cows, it does not come out full on white as you see within the products that you buy. With his third point here, if you are intolerant to dairy, try goat's or sheep's milk products. So again, with that, if you can't tolerate cow's milk, again, they'll go for alternatives. Not only you can go for sheep's or goat's milk, there's also different types. So you can go for coconut milk, almond milk, cashew milk, hemp milk. There's so many different types. I could be here all day naming you different types of milks. On his fourth point, if you can't get high quality organic dairy, stay away from the stuff. Just as simple. But if you're still looking to get, let's say, the mineral that a lot of dairies do carry with itself is calcium, if you do want to still get that within your diets and within your eating, then it says here, dairy products are not necessarily for a healthy diet. You can get plenty of calcium from other sources such as leafy green vegetables. So that's another great way to get calcium within the system. And also for whatever minerals that do come with dairy, that's another way to get it also, without having you to all the time drink milk or go into cheeses or yogurts. And the last one, as he's written here, if you are gluten intolerant, avoid dairy along with gluten for 3 to 6 months to allow the gut to repair itself to digest dairy again. So as you can see there, for those that are gluten intolerant, it will be very hard for you guys to keep eating dairy products, especially products that do contain gluten, just for the main simple fact that your body is not able to then keep digesting it. So make sure that you have that time length within 3 to 6 months to make sure that your gut and your digestive system repairs itself to allow to take in more. Alright, so that's just the first book. Hopefully I can be very quick with this. In this particular book, over here, This one goes into a bit more detail into how it can, how certain things in dairy can actually affect your hormones and also stress and adrenal levels. So quickly, with stress and the adrenal glands sit on top of the kidneys and produce hormones that, among other things, help us adapt to stress. So sometimes with a lot of these dairy products, they do carry a lot of hormones that you do not want. Okay, so stuff like cortisol, also estrogen, these type of things can then influence your body and also harm it. So you do not want that in the body. So again, going into a bit more detail, the hormones adrenaline, cortisol and DHEA help us respond in emergency to channeling the body's energy towards being able to fight or take flight. So the fight or flight effect. So basically, if you're in a situation where you either have to defend yourself or take off, if your body's working normally and efficiently, then the hormones will be able to, well, the adrenal glands anyway will be able to then flush the hormones such as adrenaline, cortisol and DHEA to all the muscles, all the organs that it needs to then help you cope with that. Improving oxygen and glucose supply to the muscles. So again, that's just adding on to what I just said. So if you are taking a lot of these bad quality dairy products, then those will have a big effect on your adrenal glands. Therefore, you won't be able to, not necessarily defend yourself, but you won't be able to function properly if you were ever in those type of situations. Even if it comes to like interviews, and you know your anxiety levels are very high, stuff like this is happening within your body to then help you calm down. But if, let's say, if you're really high up on those type of poor quality dairy products, you won't be able to deal with that stress. Therefore, you won't be able to talk properly. You won't be able to think properly. You won't be able to function well. You'll be shaking. So many things will be happening within the body that you can't almost help yourself. And this is all to do because of the amount of stress levels that are in the body. With sex hormones here, they've just mentioned that in women, the balance between progesterone and estrogen is critical. A relative excess of estrogen, called estrogen dominance, is associated with an increased risk of breast cancer, fibroids, ovarian cysts, I think it says cysts, endometriosis and PMS. So as you can see there, high levels of growth hormones or antibiotics will then lead to these type of diseases. Moving on from that book, I'm going to just quickly touch upon two more books, and it was this one. And Dr. Layla O. Africa, he really goes into a lot of depth into a lot of these dairy products here. Okay, as I did mention before, and I was talking about milk, in this particular book, this guy, I think this was the book that actually made me go off milk altogether, and I'm just going to read you why. So I'm going to just read the first two very small paragraphs anyway. Skim milk is a byproduct once solely fed to hogs. It is stripped of enzymes, vitamins D, E, K and denatured. Cooked and acidic rancid fish oil is used for the vitamin A added to milk. Dry milk is usually dried at high temperatures. This destroys the vitamins and makes the fatty acids a type of trans oil plastic, and makes the minerals too coarse to be digested. It is contaminated with salmonella and the synthetic vitamins or cooked fish oil. Vitamin D is added, making it difficult to digest. It is a non-food. And as you can see here, he has plenty more to say about skim milk. And again, that is just the starting point. I won't go into too much more detail, but that is just the starting point, and I'll leave it as that because I'm now talking for 15 minutes, and that is a long time for you guys to stand in front of a computer screen. So those are my thoughts on dairy products. With all the books that I provide, this one I was finishing. There we go. With most of the books that I provided you as well, those are their thoughts on dairy products. And again, it's almost still saying the same thing. If you are going for dairy, make sure it is the best quality. If you aren't, stay away from it. Find other alternatives to getting calcium within your diets and within your eating. Alright, so thank you very much for viewing. I think this will be the last one. So keep sending me your questions or anything that you would like to know, and I'll try my best at answering them. And not only answering them, I'll provide the sources where I got my answers from. So thank you very much for viewing. This has meant a lot to me to kind of pass on my knowledge to you guys as well, rather than you just seeing me train, as most of my videos are about. But now at least you get to kind of communicate with myself and also learn. So thank you very much for viewing. Hope you've enjoyed. Make sure that you share the videos that you've seen, or even if it's just not on the social networks, it's just between your friends and family, and there'll be plenty more to come. So make sure you keep sending your questions towards me. So thank you very much for viewing. You have a great weekend. Bank holiday coming up, so make sure you rest up, eat healthy, and get fit. Thank you very much for viewing.